Wood shavings. This was one building site that needed Mr. Tidy. They smelt exotic. It was an old crank handle. It was a stone carving showing a kneeling figure. The scaffolding was a little loose. Everything rattled. It made a surprisingly dulcet noise. It produced a dull sound when I rapped my knuckle against it. It produced a dull sound. It produced a dull sound. Great to see you again, Mr. Henderson.
Great to see you too, George. Great work back there with the cable car.
Is Pearl okay?
I wish. I'm afraid we're having one of those days where everything goes wrong.
Tell me about it. What have you been up to since we last met in Quaramonte?
Well, there was that little sideshow in Rome, but we can't talk about that. You know why, George.
I do? I do.
Why?
Top secret.
Need to know, Nico. Dwayne is, snoozer.
Don't you mean a sleeper?
No way, honey. A snoozer's at least 2 pay grades up from a sleeper. So I hear. Anyway, I don't believe I've had the pleasure, Miss,
Nicole Collar. Call me Nico.
Well, how's about that? So this is the beautiful Nico. No wonder you've been hiding her away from me, Georgie boy.
Gosh, no,
It's lovely to finally meet you too, Mr. Henderson. George has told me so much about you.
Oh, call me Dwayne, my dear. And let me assure you of one thing. Everything you've heard is quite possibly true.
Dwayne was loud, large, and short-sighted, but boy, was he a charmer. Is there anything we can do for Pearl?
I sure as hell hope so, George. She's been planning and researching this trip for years, our little pilgrimage. And Santa Cova Chapel here was the cherry on the cake. Not a thing she don't know about this place. Madonna, blah, blah, blah. Chapel built in, yada, yada, yada. She's Santa Cova's very own walking encyclopedia. Well, weeping encyclopedia, I should say.
So what brings you to Santa Cova?
Pearl's idea from the get-go. Ever since the unfortunate car accident back home, she's been scouring those pilgrimage brochures. Gotta be full of wonder and life-changing imagery. Got to have penance potential. Got to offer a real spiritual experience.
Well, I'm sure this place will be very spiritual once it's finished.
If the chapel is not what she expected, how about the monastery?
Hot dog, no. That place is for tourists, not pilgrims.
You said she expected a spiritual experience?
No, that's what the brochure promised. Pilgrimages, little monk fellas, singing, shafts of light, the whole shebang.
Smells, bells, and heavenly lights.
Yeah, that's what the lady wanted. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, Pearl needs me. There, dear.
Pearl could be a mine of information about the chap if we could just cheer her up. Pearl.
Shh, she doesn't want to.
Hi, Dwayne.
Hey, George.
How you holding up?
Me? Oh, Pearl on the other.
How?
She's pretty.
Well, maybe she just needs a hug.
Is that the best you? The last time she was in a mood like this,
Didn't go well?
I still have the scars, not just a mental one.
What can you tell?
Well, Pearl's the expert, not. She knows everything there is to know about.
Did you see the Black Madonna?
Oh, you betcha. She's the little lady we came to see, though Pearl's in too much of a state to even look at.
Hey, that tune you were whistling earlier, it sounded familiar.
Oh, it's Schubert's Ave Maria. In our courting days, me and Pearl used to hang out with the camping. It was Pearl's favorite. Oh, excuse me. There.
The view over the valley was spectacular. The view... A modern plaster altar had been built against the rock. An empty, coffee-stained mug. A statue of the Madonna and Child watched over the... There was a recess in the wall with a Latin word carved above it. Puritas, purity. I'd seen that word before somewhere. It was... I'd lowered the candelabra. I often wondered what these things looked like close up. I often wondered what these... I lit the candles on the candelabra. I rested the side mirror precariously on the candelabra. I secured the mirror in place with some yarn. The scaffolding... Everything rattled. It made... My mother always said cleanliness is next to godliness. I put the shavings in the mug. I lit the shavings. They smelled not completely unlike sandalwood. The shavings were slowly burning. Now that was something. The light from the candelabra spilled over the Black Madonna like waves of spiritual goodness in candle form. I poured the turpentine into the paint can. That would be pointless. The hammer produced a promising sound. G. B, if I wasn't mistaken.
What are you up to?
Look, I made a Churchenspiel. F sharp. A. No, that wasn't quite right. F sharp. G. F sharp. No, that was B. G. F sharp. G. B. A. G. I had it. It was the tune Dwayne was humming.
George, that's Ave Maria. Let me have a go.
Wow, you really nailed that, Nico.
Yep, this mop really is pretty special. Leave this to me.
Nico? So what did you mean by smells bell?
I'm talking about the authentic.
Oh, I see. I found a statue over there. A Black Madonna.
Great! What did you find out? Well, it's not a lot to.
Any idea how old the chapel is?
That's what I asked.
So we
That's the long and short of it, George.
Poor Pearl.
She's in quite. If we're going to find the tabula, her knowledge is key.
So, all our hopes.
I pin my hopes on an American tourist all the time.
Got any ideas for smells?
Have you found any incense? Church smells don't get much more attention.
How come your Ave Maria sounds so much better than mine?
Catholic upbringing.
How do you like my lights, Nick?
They look heavenly.
Hi, Dwayne.
Hey, George.
What were you with?
Oh, it's Schubert's Ave Maria.
What can you tell me?
Well, Pearl's the expert. She knows. Oh, there.
Pearl.
Shh.
Hi, Dwayne.
Hey,
How?
she seems to be feeling a Ave. The way the light falls on. Maybe this place isn't so bad.
How you holding up?
Me? Pearl on the.
I sprayed the shavings with Brett. Delightful. I put the scented shavings in the mug. I lit the scented shavings. A sweet aroma started to fill the room.
Pumpkin? Oh my!
What?
The sound of angels, the lights of heaven, the smell of piety, and
Yes?
the Madonna, I do believe. Tears. She's crying, Dwayne. The Madonna's crying. Little Timmy, wrong side of the road. Not my fault. The broken leg. Compensation claim. Forgive me, poor Timmy.
Oh, Pearl, my precious, you're such a sensitive soul.
Well, now that's done. I feel my soul's floating on air. We can get on with our pilgrimage, Dwayne.
Just another 1,000 clicks to go.
Pearl was back to her usual cheery self. Mrs. Henderson,
George, dear boy.
how you feeling?
Oh, just fine. I have just seen a miracle, George. It's all gonna be...
I'm sure it is, Mrs. Henderson. I'm sure it is. So, Pearl, what have you been up to since we last met?
Well, George, I've been on a journey.
Oh, really? Well, what kind of journey?
A spiritual one. A journey along the road.
Wow. And is that what brought you here?
It is. Though Santa Cova is but one.
What's so special about Santa Cova?
It's an ancient and I've spent the last year researching it, and I can truly say there is nothing.
I don't suppose you'd know anything about that rock out there?
No, only that for 1,000 years, people have claimed to see a face.
Still, keeping busy, Dwayne?
Like the man said, George, that old kaleidoscope keeps getting shaken, and the pieces are ever in flux.
Guess it's your job to pick 'em up, huh?
Well, somebody has to do it, compadre.
I enjoyed talking to Dwayne, but I was rarely any the wiser afterwards. What can you tell me about the statue?
I read that the Black Madonna has been here since the 9th century. She's called the Virgin of Montserrat. Some say the original was moved to the cathedral. But Dwayne and I know that's just a bluff, don't we, hon?
We sure do. This one is the...
What can you tell me about Santa Cova?
Well, dear, they call it the Chapel of the Holy Grotto. It was built directly into the mountain. It survived the Napoleonic Wars, but the chapel is still standing today.
Or a restoration.
What was that, dear?
Yes, a miracle. Catch you later. What do you make of this?
It looks like an Ouroboros.
Oh, you recognize it? Let me show you something else. Can you tell me anything about this painting?
Oh, nothing, dear. Apart from the obvious Gnostic connotations, of course.
What?
You know, the Dominicans. All those Gnostic saints. Doubting Thomas, Judas, and you see the woman in the red cloak? The infamous Mary Magdalene herself.
A lady in red.
That's enough now, Dwayne. You know my feelings about her.
Pearl knew her Gnostic onions, all right.
Then there's the Ouroboros, of course.
Something special about it?
Well, if I remember rightly, there was an Ouroboros right here in this chapel. Back in the 30s and 40s, the chapel was renovated. The workmen uncovered numerous symbols carved in the rock. Amongst them was a fine Ouroboros.
But that's amazing. So, where is it?
Oh, it's not there now.
Oh.
It was considered blasphemous, so they plastered over it. Sweetheart, I think it's time for us to go. The road to enlightenment waits for no woman.
'Tis the pilgrim's lot, George.
It was so nice to see you again. And meet your girlfriend.
We're not.
Take this radio, Nico. Never know when you might need it. Keep an eye on our boy George here.
Poor little lost lamb.
I'm not...
Don't worry, this little lamb's in safe hands. Bon voyage.
Bye-bye, dears.
See ya. Nico, don't even start.
Little lamb?
Let's focus on the task in hand, shall we? Okay, this Ouroboros that Pearl mentioned.
You're right. We need to find it.
I thought I'd heard a faint click. I hoped this was the right thing to do. Hey, Nico, I found the Ouroboros.
Good job, George.
Pearl was right. The plaster had covered an Ouroboros. I knew it. Another secret passageway.
Amazing, George. How did you do it?
Just another case of the old Stobart magic, I guess, Nico. It looks a little dark in there.
Are you scared, George?
Of course not. Just worried about you tripping, that's all. Whoa, this is one dark cave.
It's the door that worries me, George.
Well, I'm sure the door will open again if we give it a minute. No need to panic. Now we panic. Help! I gotta say, Nico, you're pretty calm about this.
Traveling with you, George, I've got used to this kind of thing. If I panicked every time a door shut behind us, probably forever, well...
You're right. What was I thinking? You see if you can get the door open, and I'll go check out the dark, evil-smelling cave. Fumbling around in the dark wasn't going to be fun. But heck, I'd spent a lifetime doing it, so what was new?